Did you know that 65% of the world's population is lactose intolerant, yet milk has been consumed for thousands of years? This drink became America's drink of choice, promoted in school cafeterias, fueled global economies, and ignited fierce debates over health, ethics, and survival. It even reshaped human biology. From being celebrated as a symbol of health to being criticized as unnecessary for adults, milk's history is as complex as its chemical composition. Let's pour into the controversial history of milk, a drink that's nourished, divided, and transformed civilizations. The early importance of milk. For most of us, our relationship with milk begins at birth through mother's breast milk, a perfect blend of nutrients, antibodies, and proteins designed to nourish and protect infants. This natural connection to milk might explain why humans were so determined to obtain it from other sources. As civilizations developed, we became the only species to consume milk regularly beyond infancy and the only ones to drink milk from other animals. This bond to milk transformed it from a personal lifeline to a shared survival tool. Around 9,000 years ago, in the Fertile Crescent, people began raising goats, sheep, and cows for their milk, expanding their food supply and turning milk into a valuable resource for entire communities. However, milk consumption came with a catch. Most early humans were lactose intolerant, meaning they couldn't digest lactose, the sugar in milk. Consuming it caused bloating, cramps, and worse. So, how did milk become central to many cultures? The answer lies in a genetic mutation that allowed some humans to digest lactose into adulthood. This mutation first appeared about 5,000 to 7,000 years ago among cattle herding communities in Europe. It spread rapidly due to its survival advantage. In harsh climates where crops often failed, milk became a life-saving calorie source. This biological twist reshaped the human diet, setting the stage for milk's growing importance. The rise of dairy empires. Milk didn't just fuel people, it powered entire economies. By around 5,000 years ago, dairy farming was central to ancient civilizations like Mesopotamia and the Indus Valley. Before we move on, can we milk a small favor from you? If you're utterly fascinated by food history, please move that cursor to the like button and subscribe to the channel. We would really appreciate it. Thank you. They turned milk into cheese and yogurt, which lasted longer in the heat. These innovations spread through trade routes and migrations. In ancient Egypt, milk was considered a divine gift from the goddess Hathor. In Rome, wealthy citizens drank milk and feasted on imported cheeses from distant lands. Meanwhile, in medieval Europe, monasteries developed artisanal cheese-making techniques that are still celebrated today. Fast forward to the 19th century, and milk's story took a darker turn. As cities like New York and Chicago grew, so did the demand for milk. Unfortunately, hygiene standards couldn't keep up. Unpasteurized milk often carried deadly diseases like tuberculosis and typhoid. By the 1850s, nearly half of all children born in cities died before age 5, with tainted milk being a major culprit. Swill milk, a watered-down, bacteria-ridden product from diseased cows, flooded urban markets, claiming thousands of lives. Enter Louis Pasteur. His invention of pasteurization in the 1860s revolutionized milk safety by killing harmful microbes. Think of pasteurization as giving milk a super hot spa day. Hot enough to kick out the germs, but gentle enough not to ruin its creamy vibe. But not everyone was on board at first. Many farmers and consumers believed it would destroy milk's natural goodness. It wasn't until 1908 that Chicago became the first city to require milk pasteurization, with other cities gradually following suit. In the early 1900s, the American dairy industry changed a lot, especially because of World War I. The war created a big need for milk products that could last longer without spoiling. The government helped farmers focus on producing more milk, which led to too much milk being produced after the war. To get milk to more people, refrigerated milk trains were introduced. And by 1920, New York City was receiving 40 million quarts of milk every month. The government also made rules to help control the price of milk and make sure farmers got paid fairly, no matter where they were located. These changes had a big impact on the dairy industry for many years. The government got more involved in milk production, making rules to ensure milk was seen as an important part of a healthy diet. In the 1990s, propaganda campaigns like the iconic "Got Milk" Ads helped make milk look like the perfect must-have drink, but not everyone was convinced. Milk in modern history. Its controversy today. In recent decades, milk's health halo began to crack and faced serious challenges. Scientific studies have linked high dairy consumption to potential health risks, sparking debates about whether humans need milk at all. Meanwhile, the rising popularity of vegan and plant-based movements criticize dairy farming for environmental damage and animal cruelty. Yet the dairy industry continues to promote milk as a vital source of calcium, protein, and vitamins. Despite a 40% drop in fluid milk consumption between 2000 and 2020 and the rise of plant-based alternatives, government policies continue to encourage overproduction, subsidizing dairy, keeping prices low and consumption high. The National School Lunch Program's requirement to serve milk with every meal also remains controversial, especially considering high lactose intolerance rates among diverse student populations. Cultural attitudes have evolved globally. In countries like China and Japan, where lactose intolerance is common, milk was historically rare but has become more popular due to Western influence. Today, plant-based alternatives like almond, oat, and soy milk are reshaping the global dairy industry. As consumers balance health, environmental, and ethical concerns, the future of milk remains uncertain. So, what's your take on milk? Is it essential nourishment or white poison? Share your thoughts in the comments. And if you enjoyed this story, be sure to like, subscribe, and check out more cool food stories on our channel.